Yeah. Sean, can you give me some ice water, please? Look, Monica, I gotta say something, all right? I don't like hurting people. But I'm in love with Gina.
I know that, Martin.
You do?
Yes. And I'm in love with Stan.
Y'all remember the episode of Martin and shit with Kim Fields and stuff like that? Martin thought she liked him and stuff. All right, y'all. Martin's one of the best shows ever. All right, back to this episode. Peace.
Yes, of course, Martin. Oh, you didn't think I meant...
Hell no!
Shit ain't for everybody. Sit back, though. Enjoy the vibe, you know? Yeah. I wake up and I pray, then roll another J, close my eyes and I meditate, trying to find a way. Lord, open up my third eye, take the 9 away. By the way, I'm in pain, I just let it hide away. Smoking weed is the medicine, without the side effects, reflect on high school. Me alone playing DOS effects, real nigga to the day I die. I'm out of breath, I got fresh and soul powder, so I guess the powder fresh. Wanna play the game of death, homie, that's without a rep, without the rules. All I know is niggas making power moves. If you see me with a posse, then I'm making shower moves. Time is money, little nigga, you know what the hour do. And I'm thinking to myself, then I need a mega trip. Trying to make another decimal, but make it effortless. Homie can't see the vision, fuck it, he's a pessimist. But I'm an optimist, living on some proper shit. Ghost, nightmares, dreams, poverty.
Cold World Podcast, we the best.
From vanity, trying to stay humble on the delf. You don't understand me, you don't understand yourself. From nightmares to dreams, poverty to wealth, from insanity. Trying to find harmony for self from the vanity. Trying to stay humble on the delf. You don't understand me, you don't understand yourself.
Everybody, we are in a new month. It's April, y'all. It is early April, early in the week here. It's 5:48 in the morning in the a.m. This is DVJ&MICHELLE. This is the Cold World Podcast, y'all. Yep, coming to you from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And before we get the episode kicked off, I'm just going to say congratulations to Judge Susan Crawford out of Dane County for winning the U.S. Wisconsin Supreme Court seat here in Wisconsin. That's a big deal. So, shout her out. And shout out this coffee. You look nice, baby. Yeah.
Happy Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, it's hump day.
It's hump day. It's the middle of the week. You have 2 more sleeps till Friday. 3 more sleeps till Saturday morning cartoons.
Oh, yeah, we got to congratulate, because it's a new month, so I checked to see who the first download was.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't know exactly who it is, but it was someone from Wisconsin, so.
Oh, thanks.
Shout y'all out. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was just saying today, well, I haven't started saying it, but today is Tariff Day, ain't it? Today is Tariff Day, and so we're going to see how all this shit, because it's definitely negatively affecting us, but so we're going to see exactly how this tariff bullshit's going to be hitting our pockets.
Oh, isn't it
because it's supposed to be
Liberation Day?
Immediately.
Yeah. Isn't it Liberation Day?
Right. For who?
Yeah.
So, like, just think, I mean, a car is a bigger item, but just think, even they say 25%. So if you just say you're going to buy even a cheap car, $15,000, that would be considered on the cheaper side nowadays.
On the cheaper side, yeah.
That's about, what, 15? What's 25% of 15? About...
Well, 10% would be
almost extra.
3,000.
Around close to like $4,000 extra.
Yeah.
That's a small used car. So someone with the tariffs they're slapping on, without the tariff, a person would have enough they didn't do the tariffs. If someone had 15 grand, they'd be able to go buy a used car and a cheaper new car. But with the tariffs,
Right.
it don't work like that. But yeah, that $4 grand is basically the equivalent of a cheap used car that you could get. So that tariff is used. That tariff literally is the equivalent of buying another car.
And like his
But instead, it's a tax.
Is really just revenge.
Yeah.
Revenge tariffs.
Yeah.
He's such a bitch.
Yeah, I do know, though, one thing I do know for sure is we live in a racist world. I don't care what anybody says. And I don't care if people get sick of me talking about racism. When the shit's over, well, I'll be dead and shit, but whenever the shit's over, I'll stop talking about it. I didn't make up racism.
Right, if it wasn't happening.
Right, that's the thing. People be telling black and brown people to get over racism and shit, but the shit is still here and affecting us every single day. You can see what Trump and his bitch ass is doing. All of this shit revolves around racism and sexism and all the isms.
All the isms.
That's what it is. That's what this shit is. That's what all of this revolves around. Because there's no way that any normal human being would even just half a brain. I ain't even trying to be like shitty or funny, but like some of the stuff that people just like these Trumpers, just things that they stick up for and stand up for, it's just like complete bullshit. And then when they get pressed and asked, like they double down on the shit. Right. It's just like, and it's irritating to just see people be sheepish. And my last thing real quick, why do Democrats get labeled with that radical term? What the fuck does that mean? Excuse my language, but what the fuck? There's nothing radical about what the Democrats have been doing or what they want to get done or what they're trying to fight. What the fuck is radical? The right and the MAGA, right. their behavior, radical. Their behavior is radical and I just don't understand why Democrats got that label put on, because it makes zero fucking sense. I don't get that shit.
A lot of times people will accuse someone else of being a certain way when they're that way.
Straight up.
To draw attention away from themselves. Just because you're liberal doesn't mean that you're radical.
It doesn't make sense to me. It don't. The saying doesn't make sense. The left are radical. How? What? What's radical about people wanting their rights?
Yeah.
What's radical about someone not wanting to get their job fucking cut from underneath them? What's radical about someone wanting to stand up for productive rights, for women's rights? What's radical about that shit? I thought we all loved our mothers and women were the greatest thing and all that, but when it comes to certain things,
not when it comes to their own body, they can't.
But any other time, women are like, if you ask anybody, 9 times out of 10, you would just ask anybody, hey, who's the one person like that you trust more than anybody? Or like 9 times out of 10, people are gonna say their mom.
Right. Right.
So if we love mothers and all this, then why can't one be president? I mean, I know the answer. I'm just saying, this shit is dumb as hell out here. This just, it's just white adult males want to run everything.
And like I said yesterday,
that's the bottom line.
People are fine with a woman being a senator, a principal, a CEO,
she can only go up so far.
Congresswoman, but some people feel there's no way a woman is smart enough to run a country.
Right.
They just...
Well, it's kind of interesting to see, though, that Susan Crawford, who's a white woman, to see her win. She kicked Shimmel's ass. Mm-hmm. She beat the brakes off a dude. And it's just interesting to see, okay, so... Because then that leaves me questioning and be like, is it really the fact that we didn't want a woman? Because she beat the shit out of dude.
Because I think...
So that leads me back to...
Well, the race.
The race.
Yeah.
That's why it always goes back to race, because why didn't Kamala do that well?
But I also feel... I agree with you, and I also feel what helped her is that Elon Musk coming here and trying to buy votes. Brad Schimmel's ads were very Trumpish, you know, and people are sick of that guy.
We'll see.
Even people that voted for him are sick of him now.
Well, supposedly they were saying all that shit before the election, and they lied to us. That was pissing me off. Oh, we're going to go support Kamala, yeah. And then some of them didn't. I know they did. I'd be willing to say about half the women, white women and the white men that were saying they were going to support her, when they actually got in that booth, I don't think they did. I think they were like, I can't.
Right.
Because you're hearing the white ladies all the time during the campaign. Oh, I don't really like the things Trump says, and some of the rhetoric is pretty mean and nasty, and I can do without it, but I'm going to hold my nose. That's because that's their white teammate.
Right.
That's their white teammate. So even though they may not like some of the shit he says, they're going to be like, oh, well, they have more in common with just naturally. They're just going to go on and just put that vote in. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, that shit's crazy, y'all. But enough of that. Well, yeah, congratulate Susan Crawford. That helps our state out a lot. You know, that when her winning that Supreme Court. Because that's the main reason Musty was involved in this state. He wants to build Tesla factories. He's got lawsuits. I don't know if he's the one suing or if he's being sued, but I know he's got a lot of shit going on here in the state of Wisconsin.
Because he wants to build like a plant /
This shit's illegal.
And then, right, that's why he's suing them. And then his case, I believe, is about to be heard by the Supreme Court.
Oh.
That's why he wanted Shimmel in there.
Oh.
So he could win his case.
Oh, okay.
Like, we're not stupid, dude. We see what you're doing.
Right, that's the thing. Like,
They just think
I just get sick of, like, and I hate to say, like, white people all the time, but that's who it is. Those are the ones that are doing all this shit. No matter how big or small the stuff is that they're doing to us and they're fucking us over, it's white people doing it. I don't care what anyone says. There's no black fucking politicians in power that are making decisions. It's white people doing all this stuff. Just taking things away, stripping stuff, want to have control of people physically, emotionally, financially, digging all into people. They got all our personal record. I don't want a dude having my social security number. The fuck?
Isn't that cool how that one got sent to El Salvador by accident? And they're just kind of like, oh well. You know, 1 out of 400,000 people that we got rid of, oh well. Well, if there's one, there's one.
Yeah, sure.
So.
All right, y'all. Sorry to bore y'all with the...
I don't think it's boring.
Well, I ain't sorry. I take that back. Just a saying, but... You know what I mean? We continue to talk about what's important to us. That's my thing, too. I want to send out the bat signal. We need more black and brown podcasters out here. Where are y'all at? Are y'all scared to do it? You think it's... Man, get your voice out there. Get your damn voice out there. The reason I say that is because I was listening to a radio show yesterday, and I was watching the thread, because I have a message board on the thread, and someone had asked another person on there if they wanted to start a podcast. And the person was like, yeah, are you serious? And they're like, yeah, well, I don't even know how to get started. I don't know how that works, blah, blah, blah. And I kind of briefly gave them, I was like, go do this, blah, blah, blah. And it's simple. Get your voice out there. Because there's no reason like podcasts like Joe Rogan, Ben Shapiro, Tucker Carlson, and all them should be number 1, 2, 3, in the top 5 in the podcast world, especially with the shit they talk about, all the hate and all the divisiveness that they spew. And that's concerning that there's an audience for that. The stuff they're talking about shouldn't be number 2 or number 3 on a podcast chart. That's concerning. That's concerning. Their shit should be in the basement because no one wants to hear that. So that's what I say when people tell me racism's over and all that shit. That's a fucking lie.
Millions of dollars that Elon Musty
Shout out Susan Crawford real quick.
poured into the race. CNN's Elena Treen joining us now from the White House. And there's a lot that is about to be going down at the White House today. What are you preparing for?
Well, look, we know that yesterday the president spent much of that day with his top policy advisors, really huddled with them, working out and perfecting, as the White House called it, the final announcement for these tariffs. Now, you noted that it's going to be in the Rose Garden, that it's going to come with a kind of pomp and circumstance we know that the president really wants this event to have. It's notable that this is the first Rose Garden event that he is doing. That is, of course, by design, as is some of the questions around what this is actually going to look like. Part of it is, again, they were working up until the 11th hour, and also the president was continuing to receive pitches, I was told, up until the 11th hour, really on this thing.
See what these whole ass tariffs end up being like. That shit's gonna be crazy. What? People are gonna go to the store to buy a damn soda. That shit's gonna be like $7. Folks gonna be like, what?
You thought eggs were expensive.
Shout out Costco. We need to start going to Costco because they're acting right with all the
It's just hard because, like, we don't have room to store all that. Like, everything's literally in bulk, and
true.
like you have to watch the dates.
No, I mean as far as who they're about. The company.
Oh, okay.
Peace and blessings, everybody. We are in a new month. It's April, y'all. It is early April. Early in the week here.
You stay cool, you know? However you want to do it, though. Your call. Remember how the piss smell, remember how the cuffs feel. Coming out the hallway, sometimes it's still duck still. On the move, shot by a nigga that is stuck still. Ask myself, do the fake niggas say fuck real? Got it out the mud, after that, it was uphill. Make it to the top, you ain't trying to go downhill. Niggas want you dead, but they act like they down still. Get that ass mopped like I'm coming out of Brownsville. Put the top down, I can ride around the town still. Know how the ground feel, balls in the hood, dog. I'm about peace, but remember what I'm good for. Walk the enemy, that's the shit that I stood for. What you wanna do, where you wanna do it, when you wanna do it, how you wanna do it, I be getting to it. I'ma get the stick, I'ma stick it to him, blick it to him, when it's soul drift, I'ma kick it to him like, what you wanna do? He come with a price still. You could get life in a day in the life. If the scale tip, it's really no money in it, right? You say fuck niggas, it's really no saying it, right? Yeah, you bound to get hit if you stay in these sights, or your number might hit if you playing it right. Either or, dog. You either pussycat or war dog. You on demon time, I laugh cause I'm a warlord. I was in war when niggas blew his jaw off. Returned on the jet with niggas setting the door off. I'm different, my nigga, trust me. Name ring bells for a reason, you can't touch me. What you wanna do, where you wanna do it, when you wanna do it, how you wanna do it, I begin to it. I'ma get the stick, I'ma stick it to him, blick it to him, when it's soul drift, I'ma kick it to him like, probably what's happening if you pulled in. Never be the bitch in the bullpen, shipping the wolf down, could end up killing your good friend. It's mob life, roll with your brothers when you in the good Benz. Set the trend in the hood, go follow the hood trends. Me, I roll around like an Uber driver, deep as a scuba diver, the harmonious brutalizer.
And at least Democrats are standing up for the middle class wherever we can.
Democrats need that point person, spokesperson. Need it pretty quick. It's good to see you, Congressman. Thank you for coming in. Sarah?
All right. Thank you, Kate. New this morning, a self-described pro-Israel advocacy group says it has shared a list of non-citizen protesters and activists with the U.S. government for possible deportation. This comes as a number of students have been detained. You're seeing a video right there in broad daylight of a student being detained by DHS there. And they are awaiting deportation proceedings. Some of them have been pro-Palestinian protesters. CNN correspondent Gloria Pazmino here with the details.
People out here squealing and snitching and telling on people and shit instead of letting the police just do their own job. You know what I'm saying? That's what them police are getting paid for. Make them do their job. I can't stand that. You got I'm sorry, you got people turning people in and shit? That's bogus. Sorry about all the cussing, y'all. That's bogus.
Associated with the movement they may disagree with. We've seen this during the civil rights movement, during the anti-war movement, but we are now living in a very different time, right? The digital age where our photos, our information, our social media footprint, every information about us is out there on the internet for people to gather. So there are two groups. They're called Beitar and Canary Mission, and they have made it their whole purpose to help identify protesters that have joined these anti-Israel Hamas war demonstrations. And they have created lists, they admit to this, that help identify people who have participated because they believe that those people are anti-Israel.
See, they believe. So you got regular people just think about that. Just think about that. If you were protesting, you know what I mean? You're legal right. And then you got some people over here that are just watching you and they're like, oh, I'm gonna turn this person's name in because I think they're radical or I think they're whatever. That's bullshit. Just another stereotype.
Now, the Department of Homeland Security has said that they are using intelligence to help find people, but we don't know exactly what kind of intelligence they are talking about. In the meantime, several of the people who have been arrested have been identified by these groups, including Mahmoud Khalil, including Rumeza Osterk, the woman in Boston who was arrested, and we've also spoken to some people who have been profiled but have not been detained, and they talk about the fact that their information is out there and how difficult it's made it for them to have these profiles out on the internet.
Shit's crazy.
When you hear that from the government, intelligence can mean just about anything. So it could very well be very much linked to these groups, being that the same people that they have listed are the people that have so far been detained. Thank you so much, Gloria.
People out here telling on people. All right, y'all, back to the episode. Time to dry clothes. Well, I washed 2 loads. And now, throw these shits in the dryer. Let's see. All right, y'all. Here. All right. There, multitasking. Parole time, y'all.
It's Parole Officer Torres. Today is Wednesday, February 26th, 2025. And
So it's parole time, y'all. They got this white fella. I believe he's a pedophile. So this is out of Connecticut, y'all. So let's see if they let this guy out. Hopefully they don't. I feel like all pedophiles should be sent to prison and do time altogether on their own, like Annihilation Island or something. They just go over there and do their time until they die. You know what I mean? Because between drunk driving, pedophilia, rapists and all that, I can't stand those people. Those are the scum of the earth people. I can't stand it. That's why I chose to highlight this stuff. Because I just get sick of hearing about all the crime in the cities. And I'm not denying that there's crime in the city. I'm not sitting here saying that at all. But I think it's bullshit that, because I guess one of the things is too, like one thing you got to think about is, like in the communities, a lot of communities don't have their own news station. You know what I mean? It's normally the bigger cities, you know what I mean? Like specifically here in Wisconsin, like
depending on where you are. Like our surrounding suburbs get Milwaukee news. To me, they shouldn't. Get your own local news so you can talk about all the things that's going on in your community. You know what I mean? Because that kind of sets that stereotype and that narrative and shit that all black people are criminals and all this shit, which is complete bull. You know what I mean? I guess my point is just to say that there is a lot of crime that goes out in the suburbs and the rural areas and stuff like that. And a lot of times it'll be white people. And a lot of times it doesn't get discussed, talked about. There was a case here in Wisconsin a couple years ago. This lady, it was out of Green Bay. She killed her boyfriend, cut his head off, all kinds of shit. And they talked about it, but it was bare, like you would hear about it like just randomly, not, you know what I mean? It wasn't plastered on the news every single day. Like, you know, if you hear a black person, you know, maybe shoot and kill somebody or something like that or whatever, it's going to be plastered on the news every damn day. Lead story. You know what I mean? But some of these suburban stories and some of these rural crimes, you got to go into a deep ocean dive to even find anything on them. Like, there'll be times where I'm, like, looking up some information to do a story or whatever, and then I'll find more shit. I'll be like, damn, I thought this was a totally different story. I mean, I thought this was a story I was about to do, you know, get some information on, whatever. It's a totally different crime, a totally different murder. Like, that's all I'll be saying, and we just try to, you know, point out the fact of, like, how some white people, a lot of white people get treated when they get pulled over by the police or whatever. They get exercised a lot of white privilege. They get extra phone calls. They get taken to Burger King and McDonald's. They get to rifle through their things and stuff like that. They don't ever have to turn the car off. They get, you know, treated nicely. Oh, the cuff's too tight. Oh, let me loosen them up a little bit for you and all that. Like, black and brown people don't get afforded that same, you know what I mean? So that's all I'll be saying. That's why I'll be doing this, not just I don't just wake up in the morning like, ooh, I'm going to go find some content and fuck with white people and just make them look bad and just, you know what I mean? We got to balance this stuff out. There's white crime, there's black crime, there's Latino crime, there's Asian crime, there's, you know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. We got to balance this shit out. All right, let's get back to this.
This is a hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. The following board members are present this morning, and by stating their names on record, certify they have reviewed all statutorily required documents.
You can skip past all that.
Information.
My name is Kevin R. Conklin, 4220.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Kevin Conklin, number 422-094. He is serving a sentence of 3.5 years, followed by 10 years of probation for possession of child porn. Second, promotion of minor teen performance. As of today, records reflect a parole eligibility date of January 4th, 2024. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. It has been reviewed and shows the offender has completed the short term. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
I don't have a pre-planned statement at all.
Oh, that's fucked up. He either don't care about getting out or he don't want to get out or whatever. That's crazy. Good. I hope he doesn't get out.
That's fine. That's okay.
Is there anything you want to say?
All I can say is that I've been through the class. I learned a lot about myself and my offense, and that I'm prepared to make better choices going forward, and that all I can do is live one day at a time.
Okay, Mr. Conklin. Well, I certainly appreciate your limited comments. So the effects of what you did, Mr. Conklin, I didn't hear you express any apology to anyone affected, and I'm sure you are aware that there were several people that were affected by some of the information that you were passing around.
Yes, ma'am. I received victim impact statements from multiple people involved in the case. I read all of those victim impact statements, and they affected me greatly. I did not realize that I was committing a crime where so many people were involved. I thought it was victimless. And at the time, I did not consider the fact that all of these children had, feelings about the things that I was viewing.
So, what I'm going to say to you in relationship to that is that you indicated that you said that you were drinking, and even when you were sober, that you were still downloading these pictures, and you said you attribute committing this to having too much time on your hands. But you're 47 years old, Mr. Conklin, and you were not working. You indicated that you were collecting from the VA. So weren't there other activities that you felt you could have participated in when you realized what you were doing, the seriousness of what you were doing?
Yes, ma'am. I should have realized that sooner, but like I said, I thought it was a victimless crime. I wasn't considering the implications of...
There is no victimless crime. Let's just get that out there right now. There's always a victim in a crime. There's always a ripple effect. Here's an example. When I went to prison, even though my family wasn't physically doing prison time with me, they were affected emotionally, having to come up there, support me financially and all that stuff. And then just, like my mom, me not being around and stuff, especially like the holidays, those hurt and all that, you know what I mean? And just having your family just worry about you and stuff like that. So, there's always a victim.
Were looking for work, but instead I was downloading the pornography.
Ooh, that's fucked up. Peace and blessings, y'all. I just want to take a second to shout out Wisconsin. They're our first download, for the new month. So just wanted to shout that out. I know our Wisconsin listeners remain loyal. We appreciate y'all, and we hope life's treating everyone well. You know what I mean? Protect your peace, keep yourself safe, and do something good for somebody, y'all. And we appreciate everyone that's listening. All right, back to this episode. And shout out Susan Crawford. She won. She took Brad Shimmel down. So it's a good feeling. It's a really good feeling this morning. All right, y'all, back to this episode. Shout out all my family. I love y'all. Love you, Mom. We'll see you this weekend.
Enough. I need to, for you to...
So we're going to finish the parole hearing.
To have expressed an interest in being attracted, and these are your words, to everything, and that means your child porn, your adult porn, all of those things. There has to be some kind of plan to avoid this from happening again. And I understand that being incarcerated can absolutely be a deterrent. But we would like to hear your plan in terms of no longer doing this. Granted, you're going to be engaged in treatment for a number of years when you're released from the facility. And part of that, you will be required to participate in lie detector tests, and they will detect whether or not you've come in contact with children, you've been at the mall or gone to church, and whether or not, they'll look at your phone and through your computers. All of that freedom that you used to have before is no longer. So those things are going to interfere with your life as you knew it, sir. And it's important that you have a plan in place so that you can complete the remainder of your sentence successfully. So after I've shared all of that, is there any more information that you would like to provide us with?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Next, I saw that you were going to collect your VA benefits. Now you're telling us you're going to work. Where are you going to do? Where are you going to work these 40 or 50 hours that you talked to my colleague about?
There used to be a link on our tablets called Honest Jobs, and I looked up warehouse work, and there's warehouse work all throughout the Hartford area, Windsor, and in East Hartford and Manchester. There's
on victims. So for me, I have Mr. Conklin denied for the nature and circumstances of the offense, inadequate institutional program participation, and no evidence of offender change.
I just fast forward to get to the results here, y'all. I don't want to bore y'all.
So, it's Barry. Thank you. I also have Mr. Conklin denied discretionary parole. I do believe that a cheer is appropriate given his score. While I can appreciate his having completed the sex offender treatment, he really didn't provide us with any substantive information as to how he would be able to avoid these behaviors in the future.